So today I told you yesterday that I'd get a video up about how to cut your own bangs, and I mentioned several styles that you can do with them. I had some problems with the upload. I don't know what they were about, so I'm just redoing the video really briefly, just to give you basics on how you could cut your own bangs if you want to. Determine your where the hairline starts on your forehead and the thickness of your hair before cutting, and just get a picture, take the section of hair and get a picture of how it's going to look before you actually cut. You always start with too little and cut it too long, because you can always add more and you can always cut more. So anyway, the basics for starting any bangs, usually the rule is to divide it into a triangle, beginning at the apex. And sometimes it's a little too far back for me. Since my hair's thin, I don't really want to cut a lot of it. So I will start maybe right about here and form a triangle. And I actually have some bangs that are growing out, so you're going to see some of that coming down with the sections. And I did a different parting for those bangs, so just ignore the way those look. Now also, just ignore my roots. I tried twice in the last 2 days to go to Beauty Lands to pick up my hair color, and I forgot my cosmetology license both times. Well, the second time I couldn't find it. So my hair will just have to wait, and you're just going to have to ignore the nasty roots. So just clip away the section of bangs before you start cutting, and pull the rest of my hair up. All of these bangs I'm going to show you using shears. Don't ever use kitchen shears. You will not get good results. So try, if you can, to find some regular hair shears. So this is a heavy amount. If I wanted straight across bangs and I wanted it to be heavy, I would take about this section, maybe just a little wider, and the rule would probably be from the apex to the outer corner of my eyebrows. And the thinner you go, I would just say start a little bit lower and bring it, in just a little bit. And you'll see that that's going to be about the middle of my eyebrows is where the outer corners of the triangle will be. And so if I wanted a normal amount instead of heavy, that would probably be the amount that I'd use right there. Anyway, so I'm taking a heavy section. So clip across and just start with a thin section. And what you'll want to do is cut it dry so that it won't be too short. And if you can, blow dry it in the way that you're going to style it, because if you're using a round brush to style them, they're going to raise up just a little more. So always cut it a little longer than you think, and you might be happy with that. So you can, just to give yourself the guideline, pull it straight down to where you think you need it and just cut straight across. But what I would recommend after you've done that, to give yourself a guideline, is so that your hair will look more uniform and less blunt, raise it at least to this 90-degree angle. Usually though, I take it to a 180-degree, and unifying them at this level will cause them to lay at different lengths here, which will make it appear more uniform and blended well. It'll also really work well with your round brushing if you cut it at a 180. So once you've done that, take down your next section, match it to your guide, and cutting straight across. And then use your last section, cut it to the desired length, and there you go, you've got straight across bangs. But one thing you can do just to add a little bit more of a PC look is what's called point cutting. And that's where you take your, I'm just going to move this out of the way. You take your bangs and comb them straight across, and you just go in with your shears at an angle, slight angle, and just snip, snip, snip all along the edges. And this will give it a jagged look, and when you let it down and style it, you'll see that it makes it look more textured. So if you want just a small amount of maybe just some wisps or something like that, I would, instead of dividing into the triangle, I would take it just straight across, right about there, and you can just cut those straight across here, and it shouldn't look blunt since it's very few pieces. So let's talk about swoop bangs, or side swept. I would start again with a triangle parting. This is again a fairly heavy amount. It's very similar to straight across cutting. So just start with a small amount again. You'll bring that down later. And what you'll do is you will hold them just a little bit away from your face, combing them in the direction that you want to style them. So if I want my swoop bangs to go this way, that's how I'll comb them. And when you bring them down, you'll take your shears, and you won't actually ever close them. It's going to be slide cutting, and that's where you just kind of squeeze your shears as you go along, never fully closing. So you'll just slide along it at a slight angle, gradually getting longer as you get towards the end, and this will help your bangs to lay really uniform and blend into your other layers of your hair. That should give you good swoop bangs. You can bring this down and match it to the same length. So that's pretty much your two basic types of bangs. There are lots of other kinds. The big difference with bangs is how you style them. For instance, these are straight across bangs, but I've been styling them in a swoop fashion, and you'll see that mostly your styling tools make the difference. It's not so much how you cut it, although that can really help it lay right. So I'm just going to demonstrate styling with a round brush and a blow dryer. This is my blow dryer. This is the size round brush that I use. So. So they're pretty long, so they're fairly drastic swoop bangs, but as you can see, it helps it lay really nicely and it looks pretty smooth. So that's a swoop bang style. Now if I have straight across bangs, all I do is section my bangs again, take the round brush, Alright, so that's super long, but you get the idea that it's really in how you style them. You can cut them pretty much the same way, and styling them will give you a completely different look. So I hope this has been helpful. It's pretty basic for cutting your bangs, but the number one thing is never use kitchen shears. And never use your hair shears on anything but hair. If you do, you'll probably ruin them. I ruined a pair like that. Thankfully they were cheap, and my new pair is Joelle's, and they're really, really good. Toodles.